Alright guys, welcome to the stream. Let's see, let's make sure everything here is working. There we go, we're all good. Alright. Guys, Alright, sorry about this. Okay guys, you guys know I like to play some video games, some retro games, and like to talk about the pandemic and how the pandemic has affected everyone's lives. Since March of 2020, COVID-19 has impacted many aspects of our daily lives. One such thing is education and schools. Here to play some video games and discuss with me the impact COVID has left on schools and education. Born May 5th, a local resident of the Chicago suburbs, graduate of Prospect High School of 92. She studied English literature at Loyola Elementary Education at National Louisville University, former 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teacher for Chicago Public Schools, and current principal of PHS and Sullivan School, and she's getting her doctorates at Louisville University. Please welcome with me Tracy Mazier. Hey Tracy, good. How are you?
Good.
Please sit down. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
It's my pleasure
for coming. All right, here we go. So Tracy, one of the things I like to do here is we play some video games.
Okay, I'm not good at them, but I will do my best.
All right, we're gonna be playing Mario Party today, and we'll also be talking about how the pandemic affected your job.
Okay.
You're educator for Sullivan School.
Yes.
And any other areas that you're currently doing as well?
No, just Ann Sullivan
just
in Prospect Heights.
In Prospect Heights. Now, it merges with District 214?
Yes, it's one of the District 214 feeder districts.
Okay, all right, that's pretty cool. All right, so one of the questions is, how hard was it?
How many hours do you have? I mean, like, come on.
We have about an hour and 30 minutes. Okay.
I'll say this has been the hardest year for any educators. Just in so many ways. It was brand new territory. It was exhausting. You know, we just finished the school year. We're just, over 15 months of changing and adapting and living like this. But while it was difficult, there were some really great lessons that came out of it. So, and I'm sure that we'll talk about through some of those.
All right, for sure. We're going to be playing Mario Party today. It's not really a retro game, but it's a fun game and a game that we can just sit down and discuss about some stuff. The chat's already blowing up. Okay, Bruno, thank you for dropping in. Mr. Solis, always thank you for coming in. And Mr. Sir, says Mr. Sir, thank you, Mr. Sir. All right, so here we go. Press these buttons. The red one. I don't know why it's not working. There we go. Okay, 2 players. Yeah, that's gotta be it. There we go. Okay, so they're motion sensor as well, so you kind of have to flip them a certain way. All right. Shrek says awesome vid. Thank you for dropping in and subscribing. Thank you very much. Today's episode is actually brought to you by Truly Berry Fruit Punch. Truly, it can't be this true. Truly delicious. I'm just joking. They're not a sponsor. I wish there were. I wish there were, right?
If you were, I mean, that would be amazing.
Okay. So, let me... Okay. So... The pandemic hit March 2020. How long did you guys have to prepare for it?
Not very long.
No.
Some of us had a little inkling of what might be about to happen throughout February and into early March. Just from colleagues we knew that were maybe teaching overseas. I actually interviewed a teacher who had just come back from China when it was kind of in the height there. So, I kind of had that perspective, but when we actually got word that we were shutting down, we had about 2 weeks to prepare. So we literally had, thank goodness, we had an institute day right before that. canceled all of our plans for Instant Date and just tried to
Holy, okay,
get
so
stuff together for what we thought was going to be 2 weeks, and here we are 15 months later.
because we were supposed to have 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and then that just never happened.
Yeah, so it was a lot of really quick figuring things out and then constant change, pretty much. But I have to say, and I know every educator's experience is different based upon their district, based upon the situation, but my staff were rock stars. They powered through it. We ended up in a great place, but it's been probably the hardest year in my 20 years of education, for sure. Just exhausting.
Would you go on record and say that trumps a lot of like the hardships that you went through as an educator? That was like one of your biggest, hardest moments in.
Yes, for sure, because it wasn't just like a personal hardship or other things going on. The entire world was in a pandemic, so that was you're then just not only dealing with changing everything you're doing in your job and delivering instruction in a totally different way, but then you're dealing with the financial repercussions that some of our families had from it, the social emotional pieces for kids. Like it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with. But like all of those pieces, like there's we dealt with it in awesome ways by giving meals every week. Once we got the kids back in school, the National School Lunch Program had free lunches for everybody. So we've delivered a lot of meals to our community, and that's been really good. But it was a lot. There were a lot of additional layers just besides the education.
So everything just kept stacking on top of everything.
Pretty much.
That must have been like a really hard month, like just not just for you, but like for your staff as well.
Definitely.
All right. Should we pick our characters here?
Okay, let's pick our characters here.
All right. So you're the blue one. You're right now on Luigi. You move with the joystick, obviously. I'm gonna be my favorite guy here, Bowser.
Bowser.
You want Bowser?
No, I think I'm gonna go Rosalina. I like
Rosalina. Okay. I'm not a big fan of Rosalina. Oh, and then you hit that button. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes. So that's gonna be your A button, B button, I think, and then just other buttons, and then.
You know full well I'm just gonna be hitting all the buttons.
I'm gonna be concentrating. I'm gonna be concentrating on just.
Not my forte. Video games are not my forte, so this is not.
I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be focused on like asking questions, and I am gonna try and stomp you on some of this stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you to rebuttal back.
All right. Fair.
All right.
Fair.
All right. Experts say that remote learning is here to stay. MSNBC, CBS, even Fox News has gone on record to say that remote learning is the thing now. How much of that do you agree?
I definitely agree that remote learning has a place in the future of education, and even before the pandemic, there were many places in many districts that had some component of remote learning or some sort of option.
Oh, right here. Sorry, you gotta go like this. Yeah.
Yeah, there we
Sorry.
go. But and even in my district prior to this, we had started through the state a plan to have a virtual learning, like instead of snow days and things like that. So,
Okay.
So it was kind of already in the works, which was a good thing because people had started wrapping their heads around it. I do think it's here to stay for at least the next year as an option for some students. I also think that for some kids, if a district is able to deliver it, remote learning is a very good option for them.
What do you say for that since remote learning is a great option? What about the kids who still don't have access to like computers, internet? Because there's still a lot of kids and families out there that can't afford such luxuries.
And the equity piece is definitely a huge point. We were fortunate in our district that we were ready one-to-one with iPads 4th through 8th grade, and once we shifted to the remote learning, we were able to get iPads in the hands of all of our kids. So that was fortunate. Working on the internet and connectivity piece, that's something else. So like a lot of individual outreach to families, working, Comcast has a low cost internet, so we tried to facilitate setting families up with that. But in a more rural area or in an area where maybe there aren't the supportive resources that we are fortunate to have out here, that's definitely an issue. Definitely an issue, having the devices and having the connectivity.
Let's not forget you can also go to your local library for internet resources as well, computer time. Just throwing that out there for parents, students who don't have access to that as well.
Yeah, well, and what a lot of schools did too was they kind of upgraded their Wi-Fi so that it reached out to the parking lot, so families
really?
could come in their car and connect with the kids. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That I do not know that.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
a big piece of this is how can we make sure this is as equitable as possible for all of our population.
There's some people who say that remote learning isn't as effective as in-school learning. Students tend to regress some information within a week, sometimes even 2 to 3 weeks. Is that how do you validate that? How do you overcome a challenge like that? Because I know students tend to learn better, with actually being there in the classroom.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to, for some kids, it worked amazing. There are some kids who actually thrived. And so part of it's about learning style, part of it is about the home support, part of it is about intrinsic motivation. I do think...
Sorry, yeah, no, we're rolling. Sorry, we keep forgetting that we still have to play. You gotta, I guess that was me. You gotta hit the dice, and then the highest number goes first, and then, second, third, and so on, and then you just hit A. Okay. So going back. See, but here, that's the cool thing about it. It's you get distracted and just what is it talking about?
No, I think, I think making sure, like I was saying, that equity piece, but some kids really did thrive in it. I do think that there are some things that are very difficult to teach in a remote setting. I mean, science comes with this.
A lot of the things you learn hands-on, yes.
And the big piece was because kids also learn best by working with each other and collaborating. So teaching them to collaborate in that new virtual space as opposed to sitting next to each other, talking to each other, that was a challenge. There are things that worked really well, but I do agree that there are kids for whom remote learning didn't work very well.
Okay. Question from a student at Hersey High School. Did you notice the lack of motivation in students during both years of remote learning?
Yes, I think that there are some students who struggled with that motivation. Obviously, right at the beginning, it was new. Everything was kind of going crazy. Once we started in August, we knew we were going to start virtually with most students. We, did a lot of support for families, picking up materials, so they had all the things that they needed at home, dropping off materials for families who couldn't get them. But there were some students who really struggled, who would turn off the camera or log in for the morning meeting and then, disappear throughout the day. So what's not surprising is those are some of the same students that struggle with motivation in the classroom. But when you're in the classroom, you're like, hey, come on, let's...
And that's when they pick it up.
And that was a difficult piece because we were virtual. You couldn't just go tap them on the shoulder and try to get them re-engaged or talk with them. So that took a lot of work on the part of the teachers and the office staff and the administration to continually reach out to those families and try to make sure that they were helping their kids stay engaged. But again, not everyone has a stay-at-home parent. Not everyone got to work from home during the pandemic. So we have kids who are by themselves. And I work with 10 and 11-year-olds. It's hard to be motivated as an adult sometimes, being 10 and 11. That was one of our big challenges.
That is a huge challenge. All right, so right now it's your turn. You're Rosalina. You got to roll the dice. You have a normal dice, and then if you scroll to the side, you have a personal dice, and you can either get +2 coins or roll from 2 to 8. The goal is pretty much get as many coins as you can, and get as many stars as you can. And then throughout the board, there's small challenges. It's kind of like if you were playing Jumanji or Monopoly.
Okay.
Okay. You land on a piece, community chest, or chance or something like that.
Okay.
So
roll my dice.
Yeah, you roll your dice and then you hit the same button. Plus 2 coins. Whoa! Oh! I guess no. Only you get the plus 2 coins. So I can get minus 3 coins, or I can get. That's one of me. I personally, I like to live on the edge. Risk it. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't know this about this game. You can either hit the A button, but if you actually do the motion to hit it, you have a better chance of getting a higher number, or like a better chance of like getting something better.
Oh, there you go
Yeah,
with the
see?
name. There you go with the name.
Let's see where I land. And see, I could get a star. That's where you want to get a star, but I don't have enough coins. I think it's like 20 coins for a star. Yeah, see, I don't have enough stars, so I'm just gonna go. And then I just gotta move down there. Blue spaces, you're safe. Red spaces means during the mini games, you're not as safe.
Okay.
And then anything with like a human and or like a little person plus sign, you get an ally. So those are fun. This is a fun game. It's frustrating because even in the easiest setting, you never win. I've yet to win at this game. At the easiest setting. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright, so COVID, like I said, has obviously affected a lot of aspects of our lives. Another question from a student is sports. How are sports going to be handled during the summer or during the winter or anything like that? What precautions are schools going to be taking?
You know, I think that, again, it's going to vary by district and state locations, just because the whole sports piece is varied widely across different states, which at a high school level, that certainly has implications for college, for eligibility, for talent scouting. But, you know, just in terms of thinking about the northwest suburbs, it seems that classes are reopening. Kids under 12 are definitely likely to be masked, just because they are not eligible for the vaccine. They are likely to.
Okay, so right here.
See, now I'm losing the game.
See, but this is good. So now I get to have a chance to win.
That's
so,
just why you called me here. You just want to win this game.
Pretty much. No, so you have to reclaim a piece before anybody else does. That's all you have to do. See? Oh, so close. It's okay. We'll do another. This is a practice round.
Oh.
Okay, so
great.
this is just practice.
Great.
So you just claim a piece, and then whoever doesn't, it gets smaller and smaller, and then until you can't.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
So you hit both of these when you're ready. Yeah.
Wait.
For those of you tuning in, this is Tracy Mazier. She is an educator for the suburbs of Chicago. We're here to talk about how COVID-19 has affected education. Oh, and then we're playing.
With this down, I don't want it.
Oh, you were a little bit off. Okay, it's fine. You get another shot. So you're trying to, I guess, claim whatever you think has the most
area.
The most area. Yes.
I should be good at this. I taught 5th grade.
Educator of 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. What was it? What did you teach in 4th, 5th, 6th?
I taught 5th and 6th in Chicago Public Schools, and then I taught 4th grade and a differentiation support teacher in Wilmette.
So going back to the sports questions, what precautions will you be taking?
Just in terms of what we've done in our elementary and middle school level is, during the spring, not having as many spectators, live streaming sports instead of having that audience there. We really did put off a lot of sports until the spring. We didn't have things going on in the fall, so we shortened the season so that
How did you win? And you didn't even pick on the first round.
so you mess with me and try to distract me. That's what's gonna happen. It's called beginner's luck, Fidel. It's beginner's luck.
I'll give you the beginner's luck, but that's you didn't even pick anything in the first round and you still won.
I missed 2 rounds.
Did you miss 2
But
rounds?
once I started paying attention, I knew which one had the best area.
All right, that's fair, I guess. All right.
No, but just in terms of sports, like just trying to keep distance. Obviously, when you're outside, things are safer for the kids. Now that a lot of teenagers, are able to get the vaccine, if that's something that they and their family choose, that makes things feel a lot safer at this point. So I think it's just being smart about it, but we're about to go back into phase 5, so that's going to change everything. Like we go back into phase 5, I think Wrigley's going to have full capacity.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? I think looking forward to next year for high school and middle school sports, we need to see what happens this summer when professional sports open up and kind of learn some lessons from them. But we're also going to be tied by the guidance from the state. So it's a little bit different.
It's
a professional sport.
It's a toss up right now. It's a coin toss up.
It is
on how things will go.
Because we're right at okay, we're reopening for real. Let's see what happens. So I feel that things are going to go in a positive direction, and we're going to continue to get back to normal with some constraints.
Uh-huh.
But I think it all depends on what happens in the next month and a half.
Okay. Speaking of what happens next, it's your turn. Let's see, you get an 8. You can go back to the regular dice if you choose to.
No, why would I do that when I have a chance for +2s and the top scores?
All right. Okay. Now you're okay. Now you're okay. Next time I'll just probably invite the guy that lives in the van down by the river. If any of you out there is watching, if whoever knows that reference, please comment and I'll send them like $5 if they can guess it correctly. All right, my turn. My brother and Solus are not included because they know. They grew up with me, so they know where that's from.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the star is like right above there, and I think it moves too.
Well, no, but I got an exclamation point. It said special event.
Ooh, so that means as soon as this round is over, something fun's gonna happen. And see, I land on a red spot, so I get -3. To -3 coins.
Why are there other players?
Those are computers. It's gotta be like 4 players. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, see, like he can't even get it because he doesn't have enough stuff. I think it's 20. But like, if you, because you won the last mini game, and then
don't ever play a video game with somebody who has no idea what they're doing and never played before.
It literally just beginner's luck right now. That's the best way.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. By the way, I actually got my haircut today just for the stream. I actually had it like down to here, and I swear to God, it was like that Farrah Fawcett kind of like look, like the Charlie's Angel, where it was just like that, and it was like it stayed perfectly still on top, but the bottom was just like
flowy, a little Fabio actually.
It was very Fabio actually. My friend, every time I grow out my hair, my friend's like, "You're such a Fabio right now."
That's awesome.
Alright, so we're going into a mini game right now. This is going to be a little bit different because, oh no, we're all red players now, so that means it's going to be like a free-for-all, stuff like that.
Okay.
But if it was just 1 or 2,
So do I have to run? What do I have to do?
I guess we run, and then you pick, and whoever makes it to the finish line first wins, and you have like different options. You can either go red or blue.
Why are you running faster? Is there a button to run faster?
No, it's just
I'm gonna
like
shove you off the edge.
the controls are right there. That it tells you, like the buttons that you need, and I'm just literally moving just forward. Oh, let's see, and then
Oh no!
there you.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! They're coming! They're coming for me!
Oh, I got stuck. See? Oh, okay. See, but thank God it was a practice round. All right. All right. So Hit the top two whenever you're ready. And we just gotta try to do this.
Start.
So for you personally, what was one of the most hardest things about the pandemic?
There were a lot of things that were difficult, but I think a huge part of it was just trying to make sure that my teachers and my staff were, had what they needed to be successful with their kiddos, and just trying to help them through everything, because it was really, really difficult to keep changing on a dime, which we had to do a lot depending upon. Oh no!
Oh yes! I still got first place.
Winner.
Bowser, number one. No, you're still winning though.
I know, it's okay. No, just making sure that they had what they needed to give our kids what they needed. But I do think that the most difficult thing was constant change, because you never knew what to expect. I probably made 15 different schedules for the year, which is a lot of work. It's intense, and it's a lot of change in routine. So like just the constant change is really a difficult thing to deal with.
Is once okay, so for like let me try and understand this. You typically only make one schedule a year or something like that?
So you make a master schedule, but then you have like a schedule for your special ed students, and you have a schedule for your assistants. Then every individual teacher has a schedule. Then you have a schedule for.
Right now, you get to pick. So you get to pick an ally, and they actually help you, because not only do you roll a dice, they roll a dice.
Okay.
And they also help you during mini games as well. And you actually picked one of the best ones. This was just, I sort of got beginner's luck. I went to the slots today, like at Emerson's, and I put in like $40 and I won like 150, and I guess my luck just ran out today.
Yeah.
It's so scheduling for you was like such a huge conflict.
Well, it is, because then within one master schedule, there's like 20 different schedules you have to make. So imagine doing that. Like I had 4 different master schedules for the year, and that depending on whether we were full virtual, hybrid, targeted, or
So I activated a special event, and he's about to blow up, and all those around him just, I think they go back to the very beginning, where they scatter throughout the map. Oh!
You just
yes!
took away all my coins?
Yes! Yes, that was perfect. That was perfect. What are your plans for students that need like special help? Because I know that like one-on-one can be very difficult, and even having a group of students is more difficult because you're putting so many more people at risk.
Yeah, well, even before the pandemic, we do a lot looking at our data and doing small group interventions with kids for math and reading. So we were all attempting to do that virtually, which again is a challenge. Once we got the kids back in person, it was a lot easier. And we look at that data on a continuous basis to see if there are more kids that need to go in or other kids that can go out of intervention. So one of the things we did before the end of this year was look at our spring testing data and make a plan. How am I supposed to hold this?
So I guess, so you're supposed to shake this. Oh. Does that mean? No, push, okay. So you have it upside down, so it's gotta be like this.
Okay.
There you
Do
go.
I have to press a button?
That button, you think? Yeah, that button?
One?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then you
yeah,
shake.
there's my jar.
And then you have to like shake out the jars. Or the candy, you have to shake out the candy. It's like I'm telling you, this is a very like interactive like game. You gotta move the No, okay, so the way you move the Joy-Con affects how it's positioned. So see? Like I'll move it So like pretend this is the bottom of the jar.
Okay, that's what I was doing wrong.